Hello, Dr. Helmi and fellow friends. We are Group 2, who are Felix Salim, Nur Adlin binti Ayub, Nurin Nadirah binti Ahmad Buhairi, Nurul Afika binti Muhammad Salihuddin, and Shifa Umamah binti Muhammad Husaini. And today, we will do a presentation about bioplastic, future detection and challenges. These are the pictures of our group members. And now, we'll move on to the introduction of the bioplastic itself. So what is bioplastic? Bioplastic is a type of plastic that is partly or totally created from polymers derived from biological sources, such as starch, vegetable oil, and product of microorganisms. So this bioplastic can be produced by extracting polymers like polyhydroxyalkanoates (PHA) and polyhydroxybutyrate (PHB) from microorganisms like bacteria. So why bioplastic? Because when we use bioplastic, we can reduce or even remove the problems that are usually caused by the conventional plastic, which is a fossil fuel based. The first reason is to reduce the greenhouse gas emission. As the bioplastic is not produced from fossil fuels, the gas like CO2 doesn't exist during the making of bioplastic because refinement of oil is not needed. And the second reason is to save the fossil fuels, because from what we know, fossil fuel is a non-renewable source, so bioplastic can help us to reduce our dependency on it. The third reason, because bioplastic offers a wide range for the end of life of the product. And fourth and the last is common bioplastic are toxic free and safe to use in various fields.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam sejahtera. My name is Nur Adlin binti Ayub, and now I will continue with the objectives of our project. First of all, we will go through about what is the objectives of this project. So firstly, the purpose of this project is to describe and explain the bioplastic formation from microbes that can give benefits for the future. And then we also describe about the meaning and background of bioplastic, and we also will specify the advantages and disadvantages of using microbes for the production of bioplastic in industry. And lastly, we will give example of national and international industries that use microbes for the production of bioplastic. Okay, next, what are the objectives of bioplastic manufacturing? So bioplastics are very important for us because it can give benefits to the environment and help save natural resources. So there are 4 benefits of bioplastic for us. Firstly, it can save non-renewable sources of energy. So since bioplastic come from natural sources, including crops like switchgrass, so it makes them conserve non-renewable sources of energy such as petroleum. Okay, next, the next benefit is by using bioplastic, it is significant to reduce carbon emission during the manufacturing process. So as we know, excessive carbon dioxide as a result of human activities are very dangerous to the environment, where it will cause climate change and greenhouse phenomena. So due to this, by using bioplastic is one of the initiatives to reduce carbon emissions into the air. Okay, the next benefit is it will require less energy. So when the energy requirement is less, the pollution and environmental impact are significantly reduced. So for example, the new polymer, which is polyhydroxyalkanoate (PHA), are made from microorganisms that feed on seaweed. So it does not require fertile soil and water. So that's to raise the crops. So that's keeping its environmental impact very low. Okay, then last benefit is by manufacturing of bioplastic can provide an eco-friendly solution because it requires composting or recycling to ensure a proper breakdown of the plastic pieces. So the requirement to properly dispose of biodegradable plastic products automatically reduces the amount of waste. So therefore, the advancement of this new material that were developed is a very environmentally friendly alternative for us compared to conventional plastic. Okay, that's all for the objectives of this project and also the objectives of bioplastic manufacturing.
Next, we will move on to microorganisms involved in the production of bioplastic. So microorganisms act as the source of polymers, which is the raw material for the production of bioplastic. And the most common polymers that can be extracted from the microorganisms are polyhydroxyalkanoates (PHA) and polyhydroxybutyrate (PHB). The first bacteria is Cuperia fidus niceter. So this is a gram-negative bacteria that can be found in soil and also water. It also stores a huge amount of polyhydroxybutyrate (PHB) that will be useful for the production of bioplastic. And last is, for additional information, it has a great potential for bioremediation because it can reduce chemical pollutants. And the second bacteria is Pseudomonas butida. It is a gram-negative bacteria with a rod shape and flagellated. It also produces polyhydroxyalkanoates (PHA) by having an intake of aromatic hydrocarbon styrene, which is a toxic pollutant. And also, it can be found in places with oxygen like soil or water. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, now I will continue about the advantages of using microbes in bioplastic manufacturing industries. Okay, now the first advantage of microbes in bioplastic manufacturing is it can naturally create a biopolymer. So there is a microbe that called as Cuperia fidus niceter or C. niceter. It has a wide metabolic range and naturally creates a biopolymer, which is polyhydroxybutyrate, PHB. So PHBs are micromolecules synthesized by bacteria such as C. indicator and have polymers possessing properties similar to various synthetic thermoplastic like propylene. So the culture of C. indicator wild type usually employs fructose as the carbon source and ammonium sulfate as the nitrogen source. So using metabolic engineering techniques, carbon flux will be directed away from PHB synthesis toward the generation of bioproducts. So this makes them useful for future commercial mass production of biodegradable plastics that can replace plastic materials currently obtained from petroleum bases. So there are many types of biodegradable plastics with different degrees of biodegradability, and among them, polyhydroxybutyrate, PHB, are the only 100% biodegradable ones based on our findings. Okay, the next advantage of using microbes in bioplastic manufacturing is it can accumulate polymers during their growth. So there is a microbe that called as alkaligenous lattice or A. lattice that can synthesize and accumulate a higher in value biopolymer product of polyhydroxyalkanoates, PHAs, during the fermentation process of sugarcane juice. So A. lattice is also called as growth-associated bacteria that do not require nutrient limitation for PHA synthesis and can accumulate polymer during their growth as well. So it is also the most popular bacterial strain used previously and currently because it is a growth-associated PHS producer and accumulates PHAs up to 80% of dry cell weight (DCW) as a gram-negative, non-sporulating and obligate aerobe. So moreover, A. lattice also can utilize sucrose directly as a carbon source, which is usually less expensive than glucose and often found as main sugar in various sugar-based agricultural materials. So the production of PHAs for use as a raw material to produce biodegradable plastic could help mitigate environmental problems, especially air pollution and waste management. Okay, that's all for advantages of microbes in bioplastic manufacturing.
Now, I will talk about the disadvantages of microbes. First, it has high risk of contamination. PHAs are a class of renewable, biodegradable and bio-based polymer in the form of polyester that are synthesized by numerous of bacteria. PHA can be produced by using a continuous or semi-continuous bioreactor system. In continuous culture, fresh medium is constantly supplied to the bioreactor. The main reason that continuous bioreactor operation is used in PHA production is that they can achieve higher average productivity over time in comparison to discontinuous process. This is done by maintaining the culture at a moderate but constant growth rate for prolonged periods and avoiding the non-productive downtime that is required for harvest, cleaning, preparation of new medium, sterilization, cooling and culture lag in a discontinuous process. Despite the significant upside of a continuous cultivation process, the value for PHA productivities has not reached the level that have been reported for fat batch cultivation, and continuous culture has higher risk of contamination due to a large number of feeding and pumping process, the risk of backgrowth into the feed medium reservoir, and it has to maintain the genetic stability of the production strain over many generations. Next, it has high cost of production. Currently, the main limitation for the bulk production of bioplastic from PHA are because it has production and recovery costs. The main reason for their high costs are because of the high price of high purity substrates such as glucose as the microorganism source of food, low conversion of carbon substrate to PHA product, low growth of microorganisms, and a large number of solvents regarding their downstream process. Besides, other disadvantages are because such as a limited thermomechanical stability, environmental instability, insufficient worldwide production facilities, and strict requirement for sterile fermentation conditions. The biopolymer is extracted from the inside of microbial, which makes it expensive. The high cost of production is also a result because of high energy demand related to complicated sterilization and intensive aeration to avoid the contamination from other transmissible agents such as fungi, bacteria and spore formed at a surface of equipment and biological culture medium, which will affect the product.
Assalamualaikum and good day everyone. So here is my point. I will present to all of you about the national industry that produces bioplastic. So in Malaysia, we have Cerium Berhad. What is Cerium Berhad? Cerium Berhad is Premier Industrial Research and Technology Organisation, and Cerium is a wholly owned company of Malaysian government under Ministry of International Trade and Industry or MITI. Cerium Berhad is also the best partner for innovation in Malaysia because they provide quality and sustainable innovation to industry, government and society. They also conduct many services in industrial research, testing, inspection and certification of any product, bond drafting, packaging, security design and many more. Okay, now the Cerium Berhad first project about the bioplastic pilot plant. So this is the first pilot plant in Malaysia, which is they convert palm oil into versatile biodegradable plastic material, and they use palm oil meal effluent or POME and crude palm kernel oil to produce PHA material, which is the microbes that used to produce bioplastic. So the process technology, they use microorganisms for the production of bioplastic, and they facilitate multipurpose anaerobic and bioreaction. So now the technological development. So in 2006, they investigated POME could be fermented, extracted, and processed into organic acid. Next, PHA biosynthesis is cloned at MIT, and they had the first step, which is the development of PHA biosynthesis and recovery process. The material and product testing and application is held on the first step. So the second step, the optimization, integration of manufacturing process is conducted. So now I will talk about the bioplastic market growth. So in Malaysia, we received about 30.3 billion. This is the global bioplastic market. This is the result of consumer preference and environmental concern. So now, the total plastic demand is about 50% in our country, but we expect to rise until 30% because the high demand on our industry.
Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Nur Afika binti Muhammad Salihuddin, and I'll continue the presentation on examples of international industry of bioplastics. So first we have BioGreen, which is located in India. The second is Danimer Scientific. Danimer Scientific is located in Georgia, USA, and the PTT Global Chemical Public Company Limited, which is located in Thailand. So let's go into more detail, yeah? So BioGreen. BioGreen is India's first biotechnological company. The company is partnered with a national enterprise manufacturing company with cutting-edge, high-tech facilities, fully integrated with R&D processes and also plants. Its full mission is to increase the knowledge and availability of existing compostable and biodegradable products and to introduce new such products into the marketplace. So the firm sells a diverse variety of biodegradable products such as bags, tableware, raw materials, resins, and packaging. And its latest product, as you can see here, is the face mask. All these products can readily be decomposed by soil bacteria into organic and nutritious waste content. So how is that? Well, it's made from bioplastic called PLA. And how it is made is from a natural-based plant raw material of corn, rice, and cassava, which is then fermented into forming lactic acid. The lactic acid will then be polarized into forming PLA, polylactic acid, which is the bioplastic. So because of its ever-growing growth, it is nominated as the winner of India's 5,000 Best MSME Awards 2020. So next is the PTT Global Chemical Public Company Limited. Now this company is known as GC, is located in Thailand and is the largest integrated petrochemical and refining business and a leading corporation in the Asia-Pacific region. It is recognized around the world for its contribution to being a model of sustainable growth. So it's a known manufacturer for bioplastics as well. Among them is PHA, which is basically made from agricultural raw materials, which are then created by a bacterial fermentation process in order to turn it into a plastic. Apart from that, it also focuses in PLA, PBS, which is a bioplastic which is highly heat resistant, and also PBAT, which is known for its versatile substrate and a high elongation at break and strong hydrophilic and handling properties. So all these bioplastics will then be processed into end-to-end products such as cups, cutlery, bags, melting films, and flexible packaging zip bags. And the third one is Danimer Scientific. So Danimer Scientific is a little different from all the other companies that I've stated before, since this company does not focus on end-to-end products, but it focuses on the application development. So for example, it produces extrusion coatings, fibrils, filaments, film resins, thermoforming resins, hot melt adhesives, injected molded articles. All these are customized biopolymers that are patented with PHA combined with PLA technologies. So then these products that we make will then be sold off into other larger brands, which will then produce the plastic end items that consumer will use on a daily basis. For example, like straws, utensils, cups, lids, and so on. So let's go into more detail on how it actually produces these, the PHA. So here we have, on the first process, canola seeds are planted, and then it forms the plants, flowers, and the seeds from those flowers are then harvested and crushed in a cold press process, yielding high quality pure oil. So the byproducts from this will then be used for fertilizer and livestock feed, and the oil itself will be put into a bioreactor for fermentation process, along with the bacteria, oxygen, and water. So the bacteria will then convert the oil into PHA in an optimal fermentation controlled environment. So basically the pH, the moisture content, and all that conditions are very much controlled. It is then going to the fifth process, which is basically it's processed into PHA powder. Now this is where it is then customized according to the customer's needs. For example, if it is injection molds, the bioplastic that is used is different composition than that of the thermoforming resins. So this is where it will be then processed and separated according to each product that is customized. Then it goes to the sixth process, which is it will be then formed into palletized biopolymer resins. These biopolymer resins will then be shipped into those major brand companies, and those major brand companies will then form the end-to-end products such as cups, plastic, spoons, bottles, and whatnot. And that is the end process. So that is all from me. I hope you understand. Thank you.
As a conclusion, for the future, it is encouraging the researcher to create more product from natural resources like bioplastic. Bioplastic shows a great opportunity due to its long-term viability, potential demand, which is expected to develop all over the country. The microorganisms used for the production of bioplastic can be used and commercialized in variety industry. Since it gives us many benefits for our world, it needs to commercialize until global and be used all around the world. The challenge for the production can be faced with various technology and strategies to make the bioplastic sustain in our world. So I think that's all from group 2. Thank you for paying your attention and goodbye.